Welcome to Foys on Facebook. Today's show we're going to talk about preparing for show season, and Jerry is going to show how to vaccinate a bird once again. But first, I want to go over the auction birds. Do you want to talk about the auction a little bit before I do that?
Yeah, we have an auction every show. The auction is the benefit of what we call a pigeon charity. It goes to all the money we get from selling the birds goes to the Legacy Fund Trust, part of the National Pigeon Association. All of the money that we receive, if we receive $100 goes into investments and accumulates over time. So what the money is for is to help people with pigeon-related issues. Doesn't matter what it is, or if you need something for your club. Give you an idea, we just recently funded the posters. We're going to be passing posters out all over the United States with a lot. Well, I wish I had one. Do you want to go get one? I can talk for half an hour.
I know you can. We all know you can.
These posters are meant to be given to feed stores around the United States, which will show people the difference between a common street pigeon and fancy pigeons. We paid for a video that is going to be, or has been mailed out to NPA members. We've done 2 or 3. Oh, I know. We also paid for show cages for the Grand National. So if your club or you individually have a need for funding of some sort, you let us know. Now, the money we get never, ever is spent. What we do is invest the money, all the money and that we accumulate over the years, and all of the earned income from those investments go towards funding projects. This is the poster that we had made. The Legacy Fund Trust paid for these, and the thing that the NPA didn't expect was we're getting requests from all over the United States. People want to buy this, and we still are going to give it to feed stores. But what we're also looking into is the possibility of retailing them. And when that happens, I'll let you know. Did I say enough about that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So I have the winners of the auction. The pedigree homers, the winner was Carlos da Silva. The color racing homers was Jose Avidas. And the color rollers was Steve Padden. So please give us a call after the show to pay for the birds and ask for me.
And we remind you, and I'm sure she was going to do that,
Go ahead.
right, that we've had a little bit of an issue with people buying birds or becoming the high bid, and then they don't buy them. We never hear from them again. We email them, we call them. So please, we have 3 great caring individuals who made high bids, and we hope right after the show, we're open for another hour, that you'll call and give us your credit card number or make arrangements to pay. And who were the 3?
Carlos da Silva.
Carlos, I was talking to you.
Jose Ovidas.
Jose, you too.
And Steve Padden.
Hey, Steve, we appreciate your making some bids. Call with your credit card or make arrangements with Gina. 724-843-6889. Our phone number's online and in our catalog and on our website.
I did get one call already, so
Good.
He just got to call me back.
And on with the show.
So I just wanted to remind everybody that the Louisville, Kentucky Young Bird Show is at the end of October. I believe the 26th.
26th, but the birds can be brought in on Friday.
Right.
Yep.
So we will be there. We will have a setup, and if you want to save money on shipping, give us a call, place your pre-order, and we will have it ready for you there when you get there.
May I also interrupt, as usual? What would be great is if we could take the camera and show people how much stuff we've already got pre-ordered. It just amazes me. We rent a 24-foot truck, 24-foot U-Haul van, and I'll bet you half of it is full of people who have already called us and ordered some of the very heavy items like the breeding units and the floor grids and things like that. So you save floor covering, but you save so much money. We're not talking about saving $50, but if you want for instance, one of those 4-level breeding units, shipping has got to be $100. So if you're looking for something, we'll bring it to you, and you'll pay no shipping at all. The other thing, were you going to mention ochre?
Oh, go ahead. I forgot.
I've talked about ochre before. Ochre is the chief veterinarian in South Africa. He's going to be in Louisville that weekend for business reasons and visit with some of his daughter, actually, who's in Louisville. And he's agreed to come, and he and I are going to set up a table away from Foys tables, and we're going to invite you all. If you've got a question about birds, no matter what it is, any other issue, Ochre and I will be there. So if you weren't going to show, maybe come anyways. Meet me, meet girls, meet Dan going to be there. Not Dan, Zach's going to be there. We have a new young man going to join us there. And if you have a question, come on down. You don't have to show. It's free to get into these shows. If you have any questions, call Gino. Don't call me. Hey, Gino.
Yes. I had to remind her to remind me something.
Hi. Go ahead.
So, as always, if you have any questions, post your questions, whether it's about one of the shows that we're going to or about, no matter what it's about, just ask us.
It relates to pigeons, or if you want to know more about me, and if you're a really good-looking woman, my wife will be back here, so you maybe stop by and I might buy you a drink. Well, you don't even have to be a good-looking woman.
Anyways.
Oh, don't go there.
Okay, so.
So, you can see I'm wound up a little bit today.
I can see. I'm wondering why.
Well, I did go next door to the grill and had a grilled cheese sandwich.
Okay.
And I didn't finish my beer.
Nice. So, let's talk about show season prep to start off. Then we'll do the vaccination at the end. Sound good?
And I have some notes, and I forgot to bring them. But that's okay.
It's all right.
We're going to do what first?
Show prep.
Okay.
Show season.
You've got plenty of time to get ready for the show. And if you're going to do these things, you have to prepare. It's too late to do anything about your bird's feathers as far as condition, because we're in the middle of a molt, or in some cases the beginning of a molt. In some cases the molt is over. If the molt is over, great, your birds will never look any better. But if they are in the middle of a molt, there's not much you can do to speed the molt up, but a lot of people do plan for that. So in getting ready for the show, I suggest a few things, and what I forget, you'll remind me, right?
Yep.
If you noticed, I don't have my Foys shirt on. She does.
And now I got the.
What's that? Oh yeah,
Steelers
that's for our friend from that always aggravates you.
Because I'm cold.
Okay. What do we do about a show? First of all, if there's a question about the condition of your feathers, I would make sure that these birds have the opportunity to take a bath with bath salts, which would help the condition of appearance of the feathers. They'll be real clean. Inspect your birds before you go, because you want to make sure there's no bugs. And if there's the signs that you had bugs, you may not want to show them. What I do is I spread a bird's wings, and I look, and if you see these little holes there, that show bird is ruined until those holes in the feather, because the judge will, in almost all cases, push the bird aside and disqualify it because of the holes. So look at your pigeons closely, inspect them, and make sure that you don't see those holes in their feathers, little pinholes. You'll see them, you'll know them if you've had them. Give the birds a bath, which will clean up their feathers. Then you go ahead next, because I'm running out of my breath.
Do you need a drink?
Yep, I got one.
So you should also give them amoxicillin 5 bird water, 5 days prior to the show.
The reason we're doing that, in fact, Gina was going to mention, I'll mention it. I suggest the show, if you're leaving 5 days before the day you're going to leave, put them on amoxicillin. And then after the show, when you get home, put them on 5 days, 5 more days of amoxicillin. Your birds are exposed to diseases at shows that they've never been exposed to before. It could be a particular disease that has different strains, much like paratyphoid or other diseases. So by giving them 5 days of amoxicillin, there's a good chance they will go home healthy. When you get back, uh, you may want to put them on 5 more days of amoxicillin, which is a broad spectrum antibiotic, treats a lot of different things. Hopefully, if during the show the birds had already had an amoxicillin treatment after the show, another amoxicillin treatment, it may help an awful lot. Broad spectrum, the amoxicillin treats a lot of things. Amoxicillin is okay, even if you're breeding, wouldn't hurt at all, even if you had young ones at home, although that won't be the case. All right, we'll talk about amoxicillin.
Also clean out your baskets before you put your birds in and take them to the show.
You don't know, or you may not realize, maybe your bird's feathers have little holes in them, but maybe you should clean the basket, because if they don't have any holes in them, who's to say that there aren't bugs in that basket that's been sitting there? Maybe you have straw or pine needles or wood chips there, and the bugs could be in that. So I suggest you clean out everything in the basket that you're going to bring the birds with, or carrying crate, and disinfect it. If you want to use it, wipe it down with bleach, or if you have oxine, that's a good product too. So clean that basket. And the other thing is, you should be proud of your birds, but if you're proud of your birds and you have a dirty basket or a box, it makes no sense at all. How can you be proud when you've got a basket, for instance, that is cruddy? Is that a good word? Cruddy?
It'll work. You want to pause and take a question?
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
We will pause and take a question.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question, sir. Birds are losing weight already. Dewormed. Oh, already dewormed.
Mm-hmm.
Losing weight's just a symptom.
Yep.
So we need some other, what am I trying to say?
What I would suggest is that you call the store after the show, ask for me or ask for Gina. The fact that you dewormed is good. That could have been the cause, but you've got to give some time for the birds to regain the weight after you worm. But let's assume it wasn't a worm problem. And as Gina said, uh, losing weight is not a disease. Losing weight is a symptom, much like if you have a headache, you don't really know what caused the headache or something like that. A headache is a symptom, and we don't know how to treat it. Pigeons, when they lose weight, it's a symptom. When you call, we want to know this. We want to know how long has it been going on? What color are the droppings? Have you seen any other symptoms? Symptoms like a bird with a twisted neck or limp or a wing hanging down.
Vomiting.
Pardon?
Any vomiting.
Go ahead.
Any vomiting. Look inside their mouth to see if you see any.
I forgot that one.
White cheesy or yellow stringy.
Or up the roof of the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's sort of brown. So there's a lot of questions, and I'm glad you brought this up, this kind of a question, because a single question most of the time requires questions by us, answers by you. Many times people will call me and I'll say, what color are the droppings? And they'll say, I don't know. I say, well, I'm going to be home for a little bit of time. Why don't you do this? If you have the opportunity, go out and handle those sick birds. Look down their throat. Check the droppings. If you have to, put a sick bird in a separate cage with something solid, not paper or cloth, something that won't absorb the moisture from the droppings. And what color are they? So I'm really pleased, and our phone number here is 724-843-6889. and if you want to call, we'll answer your questions. Um, and the other service we offer, and we don't mention it as often as we might or should, if you want to send your droppings in, we'll have them analyzed by a veterinarian who's a pigeon expert, and he'll be able to, in many cases, to tell you what's going on. If he has questions, he may call you. So if you want to send a sample of the droppings, call the store at Foys and ask for Sherry, and she'll explain what you need to do and how much it costs. See how we go off on tangents, but one question leads to. So I appreciate it so much for people calling in, or not calling in, Facebooking questions in, because that question it informs so many other people at the same time.
Okay, so he wrote back and said green droppings, no canker, no twisted neck.
So here's another example, and I'm not trying to be funny because questions lead to another question. What color green? Light, very light, like lime green, dark green, or somewhere in the middle. That will tell us something too. So if you will he emailed us back on the screen. So if you will send it right back to us again, what color green? Light or dark? Okay. Another question, or just a comment.
Yes, Keith, we have missed you. I hope you're doing well.
We never talk about it, but we always have that segment, and you're more than welcome to ask us a question. Anything you want to know about myself or Gina or any of our other employees, we invite you to send a question in, and in most cases, we'll answer it. So it can be personal, not personal, but I guess it's personal.
Right.
Something, if you want to know something that doesn't relate to your pigeons, give us a call. I'll give you an example. I had a man call me before I came here today, call my home, and it's a group. The best I can figure out is they wanted to get into the white dove release business, but there were 5 of them. And he asked me question upon question upon question. Number one, can a person catch a disease from having pigeons? Should you never go in the coop? Should you stay outside to watch your birds? He just went question after question after question. And it wasn't so much about pigeon health, it was concerns about having pigeons. So where was I with that? Did I go off on a tangent again?
You did, and I was zoned out.
Okay. Dark green. Okay. The gentleman, I think it's Tijai. Thank you for your response real quick. Dark green is important to know because if it was lime green, very light green, it would probably be coccidiosis. Dark green is definitely a bacterial infection. Can you tell? Did I say something?
No,
funny?
Go ahead. It's the next comment.
Oh, the next comment.
Question.
We know. I'm pretty sure it's a bacterial infection. In fact, I'm almost positive. I'm assuming the birds are losing weight, called going light. How long has it been going on? Just started? Is it affecting multiple birds? So here again, I know you're watching us. Is the bird fluffed up? How long have the birds been sick? Just noticed it today, or has it been going on? Are you losing pigeons? Are they dying? Are they all young birds, or are they young birds and old birds, or just old birds? And you can see why we tell people one question almost always leads to another question. So you can email us, but what I try to do is tell people it's much better to call Gina, and I would say 90% of the time she's going to be able to give you the correct answer. Any of our folks here can do it, except
Sherry,
Veronica
or Kim,
or Veronica. You don't want to call and ask for Veronica. Or Kim or Sherry. They can answer your questions too. If not, they'll give you my home phone number, and I'll be more than happy to respond to that.
Yes, we will.
So we're going to wait. Dark green. Now I ask them some more questions, and you'll respond. Go ahead.
Okay. Keith, our friend, has another question. Are you guys ready for this Ravens whipping this weekend? Oh, Keith, we're ready. I can't wait.
Isn't a raven sort of like not a crow, but it's bigger, but it's a scavenger.
Yeah.
Eats dead animals and things like that. People don't think very much about ravens. In fact, Edgar Allan Poe, who wrote a book, and I think it was about the ravens. But black, the color of a raven is black. That always means it's the bad guy, right? Huh? Oh, sorry, Keith. I'm sorry, but
Black and yellow all the way.
I think even with us having a untested quarterback, if I was a betting man, I'd say it'd probably be better to stay in Baltimore. Don't you agree?
I'm going to agree with you on that one, yes.
Okay. All right, where were we? Have all these questions?
So he said he's going to call you later.
Okay, that would be
with the
great.
rest of
If
the
you want, I'll be
questions.
here until 4:30, 5 o'clock Eastern time. All right.
Okay, so back to our discussion about show season.
Show season.
I think we already talked about what to do before.
And we also, go ahead, mention the things that we had talked about. Or do you want me to mention?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we talked about bring your own feed. Bring your
We
own
didn't
water.
talk about that yet.
Yeah, well,
that was our next segment.
Oh, what's this segment?
We talked about giving them amoxicillin, clean the baskets, clean the birds, make sure they're all that.
But we already did that.
That's what you see what I deal with?
On a regular basis. That's why I retired early.
So, now we're going to talk about what to do during the show. So, bring your own water. And why is that?
Well, this thread of information is all related to the same thing. When you show your pigeons, they're under stress. Stress, what happens with stress is it weakens the immune system, invites diseases. So going backwards, we suggested you treat with amoxicillin for 5 days before you go to the show, and 5 days after. And before I was rudely interrupted, the next step would be, before you leave, to bring your feed with you. Would that not be the next step?
Yes, feed and water.
Bring your own feed and water, because when you go to the show, the birds are forced to eat a feed mix they've never eaten before. They're forced to drink water. Now that seems minor, but the water in your home may be different than the water in Louisville. So why create the possibilities? Bring your own water in a gallon jug. And I suggest that you bring your own coop cups. You probably have them. We have them, but bring two coop cups for every cage. And they go inside the cages, so they have to be able to be attached to the wire. And I strongly suggest don't leave feed in front of them all day during the show. Feed them lightly before the birds are judged, or even every day in the morning when you walk into the show hall. You want to feed them just enough. Let's say you put in a little bit and let them eat it. You don't want to leave that feed in the container all day, because you can be sure as heck that the feed is going to be spilled all over the place in the process of eating. So fill your your feed cup up, let them eat, go back in 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. If there's still feed, take it out. With the water, it's the same thing. You give them water in the morning, and then dump it out and give them fresh water before you go home or go back to the hotel. And I get some people who say, well, they've got to have feed and water in front of them all the time. They really do not. And a perfect example of why it doesn't matter is when you ship pigeons to a destination, let's say it's California, it's going to take 2 days, probably, sometimes 3, but let's say 2 days. You can't put feed, you can't put water in the box, so you ship them with no feed, no water, and in most cases that means at least 24 hours, but because they were in a box for an hour or two before we shipped them, and then when they got to the post office, they were there. So really, we're talking about 72 hours without feed and water, and they're fine. So don't be disturbed at a show if they run out of water or run out of feed. It's your job. Morning, evening, that's all you have to do.
Good job. You remembered all that without looking, huh?
I have these glasses.
Oh.
Right here, there's a little TV thing, and it prompts me like this. That's how I do it.
I need some of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about before, during, and after the show.
Yep.
We talked about that too.
Well, after the show, it's
Amoxicillin.
amoxicillin. When I say twice a day, well, I mean, before and after, that's not a problem. The total treatment is 5 days interrupted by 2 or 3 days and then 5 more days. If you talk to me and we talk about your pigeon's health, many times I will tell you leave the amoxicillin, change it every day, but leave it in there for 14 days. There's no question you could actually treat your pigeons with amoxicillin for 21 days. It wouldn't be a problem. So 5 and 5 is not an issue at all. So don't forget to do it before and after the show. Would you mention to them, excuse me, that they can see these shows anytime they want?
Yeah, I'll mention it to them.
Okay, good.
So every show that after we do it live, we do post it on our website or Facebook. On our website and Facebook. I forgot. And YouTube. So,
why don't we mention the winners of the auction again?
So if you ever want to watch a show that we did previously, you can always go back and watch it. Yes, I can do that.
We don't run out of stuff to talk about.
We got plenty more.
Okay.
So once again, the winners for the pedigree homers was Carlos da Silva.
May I say, you're getting some very, very special birds. Bill donated those birds to me. He's a personal friend. A lot of the homers that you see on our auctions were donated by me, but I had bought them from Bill. And Bill finally, I shouldn't say finally, Bill was nice enough to pick out a pedigree pair for us for these auctions. So thank you very much.
The colored racing homers was Jose Ovidas, and the colored homers was Steve Padden.
On those colored homers, fellow's name that raises those is Guy Denny. And Guy Denny's in Ohio and visits me twice a year. And what he does is his specialty is he loved to put two together, hen and a cock, of different colors to see what he can get. And I can assure you that he's always got colors I don't think I've ever seen before. So when we do these auctions of 6 racing homers, and I think we may do it again, I'm not sure, but when you breed them, Lord knows what you're going to get, but you're going to get some pretty pigeons. Gina had to step away, and we do have a question. And Syed asked, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, does spraying Lysol in the coop help with keeping the coop free of airborne bacteria and virus? I have a hard time answering that because I don't know. When you spread Lysol, I think they tell you that it kills 99.9% of viruses, and I see no reason why it would hurt. But when you spray Lysol, it's in the air and then it goes down to the ground. I'm not sure how long it would last. I think you'd be better actually to clean your coop as well as you can and use a disinfectant. You can use bleach, chlorine bleach, not the new bleach, the old-fashioned chlorine bleach. I think it would serve the same purpose. Okay? All right, Gina had to walk away, so she left me here, and not sure what I'm supposed to do, but, oh, I know. I got a call this morning, and as most of you know, I take calls all the time about pigeon health or any pigeon questions, loft questions, things like that. Lady called me today, and it was about her chicken, and I do answer chicken and cage bird questions also. But her question was about her chicken, which appeared to have not digested its feed. It was lumpy, or it was still in their crop, and didn't seem to be digested overnight. As you may or may not know, when a bird eats and its crop is full, um, that food is generally digested all night long, so that in the morning it's an empty crop, and that's what you should have in the morning. Um, but she didn't know what to do with it, and I suggested that what she do is, first of all, I asked her, "Is the breath really smelly, stinky breath?" She said, "Yes." I said, "When you massage it, what's happening? Does it move?" She said, "Yes, but I'm afraid that if I massage it all the time or keep doing that," so she only did it once, "that perhaps it would create the bird," I think the word asphyxiate, is that a good word? Veronica says yes. So she's afraid the bird might not necessarily drown, but all of that liquid coming out, she might ingest it again. So I told her, let me do some research, and I may do that with you occasionally. So I got her phone number and did some research, and she was doing pretty much the absolutely wrong is a strong word, but she was doing something that maybe she could have done differently. In the research, it said you should massage the chest, holding the bird upside down, massage it from top to bottom as often as you can, no more than every 2 hours, but in a daylight you can do it 4 or 5 times. And that will loosen, and the stuff that's in its crop will, in most cases, come out. I also suggested that if it becomes a problem and it's not coming out, to put some baking soda. I'm from Maine, and in Maine it's soda and pizza. Anyways, I hear myself from Maine occasionally. Um, the baking soda will help loosen some of the crud that's in there too, and massaging it out. And you just keep doing that, and eventually, I think you'll see that the bird will come back to, well, it would be back to normal. So that's how I answered the question. Okay. Um, I keep going back to these questions. I had a gentleman call, and his birds are molting. And in the process of molting, when the wing feathers were coming out, there's a sheath, I think it's called a follicle. And the feather was sticking out of this, but it wasn't coming out completely. It seemed to be stuck. And what is causing it? And I asked if it was one bird. No, he says he had a number of birds. So I contacted Dr. Botha in South Africa, who we spoke about earlier, who's going to be in Louisville, and I asked him what his thoughts were, what would cause that. And his thought was the birds were probably wormed not too long ago or wormed during the molting season, and the worming medicine caused that problem with the feathers. So, and you've heard me say this before, if you're molting, if the birds are molting, don't medicate. It's a very susceptible time. You don't want to do that. This guy had an extreme where the feathers weren't coming out. Another thing it might do is create fret marks. And fret marks, when you look at the new feathers or the old feathers, they should be made specifically for the molt. But go to the catalog or go online and find those. You think okay?
Mm-hmm. Just need my assistance.
Okay.
Did you talk about sauerkraut?
Yep.
Oh, already.
You talked about feather problems.
Oh, okay. One other thing I wanted to mention before we go on with the
Yep. The vaccinations.
Thank you. I didn't tell you to take this picture, did I? This is the band holder. We were out of stock on them. Which way does it go? This way. Yep. We just got them back in. They're a little different. The last one had four holder sections. The new one has 5, so it's a little bigger. Same price, I believe.
And what you do is you open this up when you get your 2020 band, and you slide the bands on, and then you close it. And when you're ready, you only want one band. You pop that out, pull your band off, pop it back in again. So, and that keeps them in sequence. My biggest problem, a lot of times when I'm taking them off the wire or the string and I drop them, I don't want to spend the time to put them in sequence. But most of us like to have our bands in sequence, and you attach this to the wall, and you've got a band holder.
Speaking of 2020 year bands, you can start to pre-order them. We started taking pre-orders October 1st. Some people like to get low numbers, so they pre-order their bands.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want low numbers or a specific set of numbers, then I would suggest that you order them now.
Yeah, people call us in February or March wanting low numbers. They're gone. We sell 100,000 bands or more.
Easy.
And if you really want low numbers, start calling right now. And you can pre-order, and you can pay for them, and they go out all at the same time, which is the week
The
before
very
Christmas.
end of December, yeah.
End of December, we mail them out. So if you want low numbers, now's the time to call. You won't get them right away, but when we ship them, if we have the numbers requested, you'll get them.
Right. Dang, I was going to say something else and I forget.
Old age,
Lost
maybe?
it. Something like that.
Hey, where's your questions? You know, we got 23 more minutes. If you have a question about your words, why not give us a call? And we'll be in Louisville in 3 weeks, roughly 3 weeks. I'll remind you, if you have products, big or small, if you want us to bring them, when we get to the show, there'll be a box, your name, and you prepay for them. We just hand you the box and we're done with it. So a lot of people get so upset. They want something that's a good seller, and we're sold out before you know it. We've sold out on a Friday, even though we thought we had enough. And the show is Saturday, but you can buy stuff on Friday. So if you have something you want to order, order now. And the truck does get full.
Quick, so don't wait till the day before the show to think you're going to get ordering, because you're not.
Okay.
Okay?
Joe Garcia
Yep.
wants to know. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Huh?
Are there any high-flying pigeon clubs in Ohio Valley? I live in Steubenville, Ohio.
How are things in Steubenville? I used to be in Steubenville an awful lot. We used to train our pigeons that way, our racing pigeons. To my knowledge, when you say high flying, I'm assuming you don't mean racing pigeons. You mean the high flyers, whether it's a Serbian or a Danzig or a Tippler. I would tell you that no, to the best of my knowledge, I could say no, period. There's only national high flying clubs unless you get up into New York area. In the New York City area, high flying pigeons are very, very popular, both show and actual flying. What I would suggest you do is you can get online, and there's the New York Combine, or if you want, you can call me at my home. But I don't think are very, very few cities or towns that have enough high flying breeds to form a club. One here, one there. I have a good friend in Pittsburgh who has the Serbian high flyers, some of the best in the United States, probably some of the best in the world. But even the only clubs you can join are national clubs. Thanks for your question.
Oh, I know what I forgot. We have a special for the show today. You didn't even know about it.
Well, while you're talking, I'm going to go get ready to vaccinate my birds. You left me, I'm leaving you.
So, if you buy the Aviodox, which is a respiratory product, right now until it's sold out, they are buy one get one free.
Didn't pass that by me.
No, I didn't. So that's our special. We don't have a whole lot left, but Aviodox, yes. But if you want it, if you need it for respiratory, give us a call. Let them, whoever, if I don't answer, if you don't talk to me, let them know that it's a special for Facebook Live.
What's the Aviodox used for?
I told them respiratory.
Oh, okay. What's the doc stand for?
Doxycycline.
And what should you never ever use if it ends in cycline.
Grits. Come on, stump me.
Well, if you use doxycycline, you have to take away the grit. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I'm trying to come up with a question. But the doxycycline is meant for respiratory.
Correct.
And the form, in most cases, where there's mucus in their throat or they're coughing, or what I do is I put the bird's beak right in my ear and listen to its breathing. And it's magnified when it's that close. So you can hear the gurgling sound in their throat. Doxycycline, used as directed.
And the item number is 2519.
Buy one, get one free?
Yes.
What if you buy two?
Then you get two free.
What, free?
Anyways, we have Caesar is asking if anybody has any Pakistani high flyers. So if you know, please respond to him on Facebook.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work, Cesar, if you'll call me at home, I will do my best to find somebody. And if I don't, I know somebody who might know somebody.
Okay, go back over there.
Okay.
Okay, so now Jerry is going to demonstrate how to vaccinate a pigeon. You don't even have your pigeon.
I have it right here.
Okay, so we'll be back momentarily. Okay. Too dark. You gotta turn around. It's too
I have
dark.
to turn around?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys.
We're experimenting here, folks. Is that okay?
Go over a little bit.
Are we good?
You're good.
Okay. What I'm going to do is show you how I vaccinate my birds. For years, I just didn't want to do it. I was afraid I was going to kill them. I didn't think I could do it. Finally, I made up my mind to do it. There's nothing to it at all. Anybody can do this. When you order a vaccine, of course, you need a syringe and a needle. So this is the syringe. And what I like to tell people is when you order it, let's say you order PMV vaccine, paramoxyvirus, you're going to get, you don't even have to ask for this. We send one with every order. You're going to get a syringe, you're going to get a needle, and you're going to get instructions on how to do it. To make it even more simple, there it is in black and white and gray. But how do you do it? Very simple. You take the needle out. Pardon?
That was the syringe.
Put the needle on. Very easy to do. Got to pull this out here. I say it's easy. Put the needle on. Now, you're ready to vaccinate. When you, I don't have the bottle, but you're going to stick this through a rubber on the top of the bottle. Then you stick it down. While it's down there, what I do is I pull this all the way up and fill the syringe, and then it pushes back down. That helps to eliminate any air that might be there. So before you vaccinate, you're going to stick it in the bottle, pull it up, push it down, pull it up again. Now, I'm going to use water just to show you how simple it is. So I'm going to stick this in. I'm going to pull up the water. Can we see it okay? I'm going to pull up the water. It's full. And as you can see it, water went right back out. I'm going to pull it back again. All of our syringes are marked with CCs. So if it's from one, it actually starts at a half. So if it's one, it's half of one is a half. So I guess what I'm getting to is some of the some of them are quarter and some of them are half, 1/4 and 1/2. The syringe when you inject the bird, what's the dosage?
Oh, they're both quarter cc.
Okay, so this is a 1/2 inch. All you're going to do is go halfway up to each mark for a 1/2 cc. Now,
Quarter cc.
I'm sorry, 1/4 cc. All the directions are on the paper you get. All the directions are in our catalog. All of the directions are on our website, so it's easy enough to get to. Before the before the show, I brought this bird, and I was teasing Gina a little bit about asking her what sex is this bird. And I showed her, I did it this way, I spread the tail. All right, says Gina, what sex is this bird? And she did guess right. Wasn't guess. 99.9% of the time, this is a hen. When you get silvers and red checks, not all the colors, but generally reds and silvers and yellows, when you spread the tail, if you see a little, we call them ticks, T-I-C-K. It's a little brown mark that tells you if there's a if there's ticks, you'll have little black spots all over the tail. Not always all over the tail, but you'll see those black spots. If you see them and they're not circled, they're little lines, it's a cockbird almost every time. This is a hen because it does not have any of the tick marks at all. So if you look at it, it looks like a hen to me, and I know a lot of. I've had birds for 68 years, so I've got to the point where I can be. I would venture to say 90 to 95% of the time. All right, goes without saying, and how to hold a bird. You fingers like that, you're holding the toes. My thumb and my other finger are holding tight, and if I lost this bird, and if it happens, it's going right outside because the garage door is open. So that's how you hold it. Now, while I'm thinking about it, a lot of times I tell people, did you look down their throat? And you can see problems like mucus, canker, sinusitis. What you're doing is you just open its beak like that. It's perfect, it's pretty, it's pink, it's clean, absolutely healthy bird when it comes to respiratory. Now, I do all the vaccinating myself. I don't need a second person. So I'm going to pull forward and I'm going to put the bird. Hope you don't get out now. Okay, it's between my legs. What I'm going to do, get my syringe. Now, for beginners, what I suggest you do is get a spritzer bottle, a little spray bottle of water, and spray it. It'll separate the feathers to make it easier. So what I'm going to do, see, scissors. What I'm going to do is take this bird and turn its head down. I'm going to spread the feathers so that I can see skin. I don't know whether you can see it, but I see the skin, and I've already prepped my needle and syringe. Stick it in just a quarter of an inch, right below the skin level, and the markings are here. So I'm going to push until I get a quarter of an ounce. Pull it out. It's done. See how simple it is? There's just nothing to it. Don't let it scare you. Do it yourself. There's only two vaccines that are available in the United States. One is for paratyphoid, one is PMV. Up until last year, the one vaccine, I think it was the PMV vaccine, was an oil base. The paratyphoid vaccine was a water base. So you didn't do them at the same time. With the new vaccines, they're both water based. They're both made by the same company. They were both um, made by two pigeon veterinarians, Dr. Kay and Dr. Paul Miller. So they know what they're talking about. It wasn't just a lab. And to create a vaccine in the United States is very, very difficult. It's test upon test upon test by the USDA to verify that they are what they say they are and they do what they say they're going to do. So PMV, paratyphoid vaccines. If you have any questions after this video and you want to call, more than happy. Pull in close for me. A lot of people sometimes ask me, this is a red check. You can see it's sort of reddish, but there's a little checking in here. The tail is gray in some red checks, and a lot of people want reds, but they want the tail to be red too. So they go either way. See the nostrils, the nose itself. See how white it is? That should be chalk white. When it becomes colored, with one exception, if it becomes colored and they're feeding young, That's normal because they're sticking their mouth into the baby's mouth and it gets a little browned here. But generally speaking, it should be chalk white. That tells you it's a healthy bird. So if you're looking at a bird and you're thinking about buying it and it's not chalk white, don't buy the bird. It should be. That eye there, that is what's called an orange eye. With pigeons, you get orange, and sometimes you'll get a yellow, mostly orange, and sometimes you'll get what's called a bull eye. A bull eye is it's just almost it's so black it's so dark it looks black, but in fact it isn't. It's just a dark pigment in the bird's eye. So this is a bull eye is black. Usually you find them in white pigeons. Almost every one of my white pigeons that we use and sell for people who are doing funerals, they're almost always a bull eye. So if you have a question on anything I've talked about in the last few minutes, we got about 10 more minutes. If you have a question or want me to elaborate on what we've talked about, fine. Now you can see the bird's beak. I don't want to move too fast, but the bird beak is closed. That's the way it's supposed to be. If this bird was stressed or very hot, it would be breathing with its mouth open. So even though this bird, I'm sure, is stressed a little bit by me handling him, it's not overly stressed because it's not breathing hard. All right. Well, I'll maybe talk about something else. While I got a bird, racing pigeon people will spread the feathers like this to look at their skin color. And with racing pigeon people, this bird, there it is. It's hard to do it because the feathers are so tight. This bird is already, let me see. This bird has one more feather to drop. It's this one here. When I say drop, when they're through the mold. Everything else, the bird is, if you were going to show a bird, this bird would be fine to show. All right, I'm going to put it back in my box. If you have a question about anything I've said today, more than welcome to call, and Gina's going to put it back. Oh. We do have a question on the screen from Russ while Gina's going to join us. The question is, my rollers have one white eye.
Why?
Well, there's an S after rollers. That implies it's multiple birds. Russ, why don't you email me? Is that just one bird with a white eye, or how many birds have a white eye? It's interesting you should ask. We just talked about eyes on as I talked about the pigeons that we vaccinated. Once again, we got 5 or 6 more minutes. If you have a question or something you want us to talk about, I'm glad to do that. Tell them to send in the question.
Send in your question.
Okay.
Whether it's on something that we're talking about now or anything else, it doesn't matter what it's about. We'll answer it.
Okay, it is show season. Go ahead. We're going to talk about Louisville again. Go ahead. Just to fill in, we'll be in Louisville in a couple of weeks or so. We'll be there on the weekend of the 25th and 26th. We usually get in on Wednesday or Thursday. We get in on a Thursday, but we don't sell on Thursday. It takes us 5 or 6 hours to set up our display. The display is usually a table that's 8 foot long, and we use 16 of them. So it gives you an idea. We bring a lot of stuff for you to look at. Maybe you have questions. Dr. Botha from South Africa and I will be there to answer questions. But in most cases at shows, anybody that's at the show working for us can answer a question, with one exception. That would be Zach. Zach is brand new with us, been there 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, I don't know. But he's learning as he goes, so to speak. We've got him doing lots of other things. But Gina will be there, Sherry will be there, Kim will be there. Jerry. I'll be there, but I'm not allowed in the booth, am I? I'm not supposed to be there?
Sometimes.
Okay. All right, Russ, if you watching, please send us my answer. Are you asking a one bird with one eye, or more than one bird with one eye? Let's give out our phone numbers again, and I'm going to give out my home phone. You want to do that first?
Foys number 724-843-6889, And then Jerry's home phone number. Remember, if you call him 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, 724-359-5355. Also, keep in mind, if you call Jerry, you cannot leave a message. He will see your phone number and call you back if he does not answer.
Yeah, when you're calling my home, you have to assume I'm out doing things. I got pigeons to take care of, grass to cut, and all those kinds of things. Or I'm
You're on the
shopping,
phone.
Lord knows what. But
Or
I
just on another call.
yeah, or on another call because it doesn't tell you that. I can hear it beep. But I will call you back. And sometimes I've called people as late as 9 o'clock at night. Normally, uh, if I'm gone all day, I spend some of the evening trying to catch up. So don't be discouraged. If I don't call you back that day, I will call you back the following day. And like Gina says, if it's after 5 o'clock Eastern time, I usually don't answer.
Right.
I also wanted to mention, we mentioned it at the beginning of the show. I sell white pigeons, white racing homers for people who do weddings and funerals and ceremonies and things like that. Um, and if you're thinking about ordering birds for me, if you hear that roll of my aura,
I heard it.
did you hear it? Anyway, don't mind me, folks. With the white birds, if you're interested in young ones, 2020, now's the time to order. I believe it or not, I was sharing with Gina earlier. I just got an order for 100 of them for 2020. Um, we keep a lot of birds, and I have two people who breed white birds for me to my standards. When we sell the white birds, we say they're pure white. They are. Uh, they're banded. If once in a while we get an unbanded bird, and if it's unbanded, I will tell the people it's a 2020 bird. If you don't want it, that's fine, but I guarantee you it's 2020, and birds have never been out. So if you're interested, call my home or call the store. I'll give you some prices, and I ask for anybody that wants to pre-order for next year for a deposit. It's usually $100. When the birds are close to being ready, I'll give you a call and let you know, and then you send in the balance. And I don't take credit cards for pigeons. Okay.
Russ said that he has more than one bird with a white eye, with one eye white.
Russ, call me at home. If it was one eye, I would say the bird's blind. There's a worm that does that, and it still could be the worm. There's a worm that lives in the eyeball, and what you might want to do is you grab your bird and hold it, and you press towards the eye. You're pressing, and you'll see the worm walking across the eyeball. And that tells you you've got that particular worm. So press against the eye and see if a worm comes out. But you can still call me and we'll discuss it some more, and I'll do a little bit more research. 724-359-5355. You can call now. I probably won't be home till after 5, but if I don't answer you today, I'll call you back. But just ask me the question again. If you want to text me, you can do that. You text the right word. No, email me. Gino's looking at me.
No.
She says, Jerry, you don't take texts. But my email address is my first and last name, Jerry Gagne. It's in the catalog at foyspetsupplies.com. You send that and we can talk.
He said 2 of the babies has the same as the cockbird, just so you know.
It sounds like a genetic thing, but I need to talk to you a little bit more about it. Okay. But I'm pretty sure it's genetic.
Okay.
The question is, can you tell whether the bird can see out of that eye? Let me try that as best you can.
Okay. Joe has a question. What's the best time to inoculate in a bird's life and the time of year?
Twice a year. The best time is when you're all done breeding. And then when you, maybe 2 weeks before you put your birds together or before you start breeding, do it again. They both require 2 shots. Gina, do you remember?
If you have not ever vaccinated before, they require 2 shots.
The first time.
Yeah, the first time. 1 shot, and then within 3 to 4 weeks, you give the booster shot. And then the paratyphoid is twice a year. The PMV is once a year.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
My goodness, it's 4:01. Time flies when you have a
What?
good time.
Sure
Huh?
does.
We are working on. Go ahead. I was going to
No, go
say,
ahead.
Gina and I spend at least one day together every day working on the
Every week.
2010 a week. Yeah.
I couldn't do every day. Jesus.
Anyway, she gets together with me on a regular basis. Want me to be quiet while you interrupt me?
No.
I never interrupt you, do I?
No, never.
Anyways, we're working on the new catalog. We hope to have it ready in the month of January. It takes a long time to do it. We're uh, scratching some products, but we're adding some new lines. We're going to have more of the Ropa, more of the Hilton, and we've picked out Hilton herbs, right?
No, you said that twice.
Oh, Ropa and Hilton herbs.
Ropa, Hilton herbs. We've always had Hilton herbs.
Okay, but we've got a lot
I
of
mean, not always, but
a number of new products that we're going to be offering. And if you're a kind of person that has an idea and it's worked out well with you, send us an idea. We've got a lot of our newer products over the years have come from suggestions of our customers.
yep. Don't forget about the special, the AVO docs, buy one get one free.
Call if you bid on the birds.
Oh,
Don't forget to contact Gina. She'll be here till 5 o'clock Eastern time. One is already taken care of it, but two more. So if you bought the birds, I'll ship them out to you next Tuesday. Are we done?
I wanted to say something else and I forgot.
Bob Hope used to have a song that he said. Oh, I can't remember.
The next show is Friday, October 18th. And then, are we doing a show in Louisville? A Facebook Live?
To be determined later.
Okay, so we'll let you know if we're going to do one at Louisville show.
When's our next show?
October 18th.
Here.
And
then we might do a show down there, right?
Yeah.
Is that weekend? Is that how it falls? That would be
I
our
believe so.
Okay.
No, it's not. It would be the following, but we'll let you guys know. But as of right now, our next show is October 18th in 2 weeks, and then we'll let you know about Louisville.
And if you have a question or want us to discuss something, contact Gina. You can be sure we will. Anything that has to do with your birds or any questions you have about your loft, and you want us to discuss it. And it's a good idea to send the questions in early. The earlier we get them, the more time it gives us to research it, have it all prepared to discuss it, and then accept your questions.
Also, if there's any product you want us to show, anything you want us to talk about on the live show, just give us a call and we'll be. Somebody had emailed Jerry about doing the vaccinations. That's why we did it again.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anything you want to see, any product, anything you want us to show you, just call us and let us know. We'll be more than happy to show you.
Thanks to the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who watch this show. We're able to see how many people have done it. And if you like the show, what do you call it? You like it? How do you do
Like us
that?
on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook. It matters because we count those and we're trying to reach certain plateaus. So if you like us, we have close to 10,000 likes already. Somewhere down the line, we'll get that up to 40 or 50,000. Gotta set goals.
That's right.
Okay.
What's
Thanks for watching us.
Have a great weekend. Go Steelers. I know you all be watching with us.
Yeah. I feel sorry that fellow that's a Raven fan. He must be embarrassed.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, they never came back because they know they're gonna. I don't want to say they're gonna get their butts kicked because so many of those Ravens have big butts, but you're going down.
Thank you for watching.